talking about the article and its main points. Then I will move on to the author's attitude as well as creative features of the work, and I will summarize with my interpretive lens. The article, Nestlé's $500 noodle debacle in India, is a deep dive into the story of Nestle and the noodle crisis in India. To provide a summary for my analysis, I will quote the article. Nestlé spent 3 decades building a beloved noodle brand in India. Then the world's biggest food and beverages company stumbled into a public relations debacle that cost it $500 million. A cautionary tale of a mangled crisis management on an epic scale. And the noodles are called Maggi. On a more meta level, however, this story is about how you need to follow the rules of the playfield you're entering, as well as appreciate the culture that you're entering to, because you might be right in your own native context, however, that doesn't matter in the new domestic culture's as context. And this is stated over and over again, as we can see in this quote by Nestlé's CEO. This is a case where it can be so right and yet so wrong. Something interesting though that is worth pointing out is this paragraph, which is made up of 3 separate quotations that are put together forming almost a sentence. This makes the author lose credibility, as it almost feels staged to fit to the context of the article. The author later tries to complement this viewpoint with a quote from a risk consulting firm. Maggi case is less a story of unique political dynamics than a classic tale of institutional weakness in India. This resonates with the viewpoint that it doesn't matter if you're right in your own context, you can still be wrong in another context. However, this viewpoint is likely to be forgotten by the audience because of how the author structurized the article. These 2 evidence, the quote from the CEO and the quote from the risk consulting firm, is provided in the beginning and the end of the article, and the whole middle section of the article is left to another viewpoint, the viewpoint that India is being the victims of Nestle's. This viewpoint of Indian being victims aligns with the author's attitude towards the subject. He portrays the CEO of Nestlé's as a lanky, blue-eyed Belgian that is 61 years old. Lank has a negative connotation, and blue-eyed and 61 years old resonates with the stereotype of a high executive for a large company, which is a white male. Someone that within today's context wouldn't be considered very charming. When the CEO of Nestlé's are portrayed as this grumpy old man, the face for India is the complete opposite. Ramdev, 50, has long hair and a dark bushy beard. This man has been doing Ayurvedic medicine and is now fighting the Nestlé's. He is the symbol for a healthy native India. As a result of how the author portrays the CEO of the Yoga Guru, the picture the audience are getting about the subject will be skewed and matching the attitude of the author. To make the audience more engaged, the author uses the technique show not tell a lot. An example of this is how the author explains the level of extraordinary the initial findings of the contaminated noodles were. The quote also provides an imagery for how the streets in India might look like. I quote, Singh 40 typically spends most of his time cracking down on the streets and festival vendors, like the Biryani rice peddlers who was spiking his product with a yellow illegal. Later on, the author will continue to build a character around Singh. He will become the symbol of the underdog India against the big dog Nestle. This is shown later when Singh gets rewarded with a public service award in Barakani for his work. Providing this piece of information in the end contributes to a memorable ending, and the author does a good job bringing everything together, as Singh was the one initiating the entire story with his findings. Even though I study in an environment that exposed me to various cultures, including India, I still see India as a bit primitive. Working together with my confirmation bias, the view gets confirmed with images such as rice peddling spiking his products with illegal yellow coloring, something that would never happen in Sweden. The view further gets confirmed when I heard about the insufficiency of the Indian institutes. The author, instead of telling, shows me how the system takes 1 year to operate and to get the noodle sampled. The view got further confirmed when I heard about the inefficiency of the Indian institutes. The author, instead of telling, shows how the system can operate, such as when he explains how it took 1 year to get the noodle sample. Having my interpretive lens and getting my view confirmed leads me to a bit suspicious if it actually were Nestle's fault, or if the noodles were just contaminated by accident made by India. I lack trust for the Indian. On the other hand, I am a strong believer in that the multinational corporations are greedy bastards that are just in it for the profit, no matter to what cost. This shapes how I read the article. I see India as an underdog that are being picked on by a powerful company. My lack of trust for Nestle is bigger than my lack of trust for India. Research in the context of the article did not change my view of the subject, neither of Nestlé's. However, it left me reflective and confused. You see, Indian cuisine is based on slow food, and is a very fast food conservative country. India accounts for only 12% of the fast food market in Asia, compared to China's 37%. The slow food is rooted in their culture, and one possible explanation for that is because food is prepared for many people at the same time. When introducing fast food noodles, outdoor culture/cuisine gets changed. Nestlé's, the Western company, is destroying the beautiful native culture, and this doesn't really work in the favor for Nestlé's. But since the Indian cuisine is so labor-intensive and those cooking are women, Nestlé's, or Maggi the noodles, actually help liberating the women's, allowing them to mix a professional career with house laborers. You see, many of the Indian women need to take care of the domestic duties as well as having a full-time job. In this case, Nestlé's could be seen as helping out. Nestlé's even market themselves in the beginning with "Mommy, I'm hungry," appealing to the mom.